Brands have always looked at culture as an opportunity for them to capture the zeitgeist, and probably nowadays that's never been more challenging, partly because of the polarisation of society and a lot of the themes where you are really taking sides if you have a point of view. And I think brands nowadays really need to think about whether they actually have a right to engage in cultural issues or not. Very few do, if I'm honest, and the lessons would be learned from a number of the examples that were shown today.
I think it's important that brands kind of operate at the speed of culture, but then equally if they're going to do that, they have to matter in culture. And that's sometimes where sort of brands fall down the hole in between and there's a disconnect. So I think, we talked about examples like Axe, for instance, which I think is a really interesting brand where they felt that they'd kind of fallen out of kilter with their, the spray more, get more, this pursuit of teenage sex practically kind of underpinning everything they did. To say, well, look, the definition of masculinity has really evolved and diversified, and we need to reflect that as a brand. And that just takes you, once you start to kind of recalibrate your social or your moral compass as a brand, it gives you a North Star. So instead of it being quite kind of tacky and puerile and something that feels quite dated, which was that, pursuit of sex at all costs, suddenly it becomes about, well, what is that role of masculinity in society? It's a very kind of diverse, diffuse vision now of what it is to be a man. And that just takes you as a brand into really interesting areas, because you can create platforms, you can be part of conversations, you can be a role model, you can start talking about gender fluidity, you can talk about how men kind of cope with things like, respond to feminism and where they fit in, that sort of stuff. So again, as a brand, it just gets you into interesting spaces by having that sort of sense of how do we matter in culture and use the weight that we have from a media perspective and a creativity perspective. We have a voice that people listen to, but if we use it well, then we can start to make a difference in the world.